mom believes that dad is hiding money and that the calculation is low.
I don't know if he's working. I mean, I know that he has side jobs. They have businesses online. They've made 4 trips to Disney in the last year. Literally just got back 2 weeks ago, all inclusive, 4 people. Each trip averages about $10,000 per trip, but it's all inclusive. Flights to Peru. He has $1 million house in each of his name, her name. They have land, his name, her name. So if he can live like that and we're struggling.
He's spending money lavishly. I get that that's your point. I guess the quite, but that's not evidence of income.
He gave my son cocaine and he has touched him.
This is in the interest of Twist minor child, non-custodial party being Matthew Twist, custodial party being Shannon Twist. And this matter is before the court on a motion for modification of child support and motion to confirm arrears. The court is taking judicial notice of the court file and note for the record that there were citations on both parties, looked like back in January of 2024. And both parties are then properly before the court. As far as the citation in this matter is concerned, the court will note that we're here on the modification of that information. The court appears to the court based on the information the court has at this time. There was a prior court order entered in 2019 through private counsel, and that looks like that there appears to be an addition of Social Security now along with the VA disability of Mr. Twist, but I'll have everybody confirm that so we can see what we're looking at as far as information going forward and whether or not the child is getting Social Security benefits based on Mr. Twist's disability or what, and make appropriate orders. So at this time, I ask the state for an opening to tell the court what the state's requesting we do here today, what you understand agreements and contests to be with the parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, this may be a real contest. So I want to make the court aware of that. So a couple issues. I think the first is going to be the calculation of guideline child support. I believe dad is in agreement with what the state has calculated. I believe that mom believes that dad is hiding money and that the calculation is low. I think mom is also going to argue to the court that even if the guideline calculation is correct, that an upward deviation would be appropriate in this case. And then I think the biggest concern, there's a request for non-disclosure. I believe the issue is going to be possible drugs provided to the child, but I'll let the parties tell the court more. And so if the court, I don't know if the court wants to deal with the money first or the non-disclosure first. I would probably call the dad first if we're going to deal with the money first. I'd probably call the mom first if we're going to deal with the non-disclosure first.
Deal with the money first and the non-disclosure last, because the non-disclosure in and of itself is not a modification of the prior order dealing with anything concerning the parental rights of either party to the child in this case. The non-disclosure is just information going forward, and there might be a conflict of that with the prior order. So we'll have to wait and see, but let's deal with the money first, and then we'll see what the non-disclosure allegation or the reason for the non-disclosure and the allegations for such. So let's go ahead and get some testimony and let's find out what's going on here. Anyway, at this time, I'll ask both Mr. Twist and Ms. Twist to both raise your right hands. You both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony gonna give your days the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both officially under oath. Ms. Twist, can you be a little louder? Sorry, you're unmuted, but I didn't hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right, if you're both officially under oath, I'll go ahead and let the state call you as witnesses. Mr. Diamond, I specifically need to know what disability rating he has from the VA and whether or not the Social Security Administration has also found him disabled. I know I got some paperwork in the file on that, but I need confirmation via testimony. So you may proceed and call your first witness at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call Mr. Twist. Mr. Twist, will you state your full name, please?
Matthew M. Twist.
All right, and who is the child that we're here on?
Matthew Logan Twist.
Okay. And I don't believe you're in arrears a whole lot. I think you're in arrears a couple $100. Does that sound correct?
I think as of today it hasn't posted, but I should be current completely, sir. But y'all would know better than I do.
All right. So I believe that you're, as of a few days ago. I believe that you were a couple $100 in the hole, but it's not a whole lot. But Your Honor, I would offer what's been marked as States 1.
No,
All right,
sir.
so once admitted, you may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Mr. Twist, I showed $247.15 as of the end of last month. Do you have any objection to the court using that number?
No,
It'll
with-
balance out, sir, no matter what, it's just a number that adds up that date. Anything else that comes in that goes against it, okay?
I will pay it if need be, of course, but if that's the balance, that's the balance, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. May I share my screen again, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
So I'm Mr. Twist, I'm going to show you now a series of documents that are marked as States 2. I believe this was an email that you sent to my office. Mr. Twist, I'm going to scroll down, but I'm asking you if this looks familiar.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm seeing what looks like an insurance card.
That's
that right?
I'm assuming it's dental, so yeah.
Yeah, insurance card for dental and vision for my son.
Okay. And then we've also got some Social Security information.
Yes, sir. That's what I received from Social Security, and then my son receives, I believe, $390 from me to him.
Okay, and
included
we'll
with
get
the
in.
child-
And we'll get into the particulars here in a minute. I have to make a good record, and I have to get you to confirm that these are good
Yes, sir.
documents before I can put them into evidence. And then
Yes,
there's a communication with the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are these all
monthly statement?
all right? And are these all true and accurate copies of the original documents you were provided?
Of course.
The insurance company, SS, the Social Security Administration, and the Veterans Affairs.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Okay, I'd offer States 2, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, is there, first off, sir, is there any legal objection to court allowing these in evidence at this time, Mr. Twist?
No, sir, not at all.
All right, Ms. Twist, is there a legal reason the court should not allow these in evidence at this time, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, Stage 2 is admitted. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's the judge needs to know about that. What is your disability rating with the Social Security Administration, Mr. Twist?
With them and the VA, I'm 100% disabled due to combat-related injuries.
Okay, and thank you for your service, Mr. Twist.
Thank you.
The numbers that my agency calculated. So I calculate, or I didn't calculate. My agency calculated a guideline child support amount of $950, and that's based off giving you the credit for the $390 of the stipend that's paid directly to Ms. Twist. So I'm gonna give you a few more inputs. So we based that off of $2,325 from DFAS. Is that correct? Well, I'm just asking you. So I can give it to you in a chunk. So I have $2,325 from DFAS, $4,202.42 from the VA, and $1,354.97 from the Social Security Administration. Does that sound correct?
It's not separate. It's $1,562. That's what I received from Social Security, and then I received $4,202 from the VA. My total amount is $5,765, and I'm looking down because I'm reading from my own note from what you're looking at, sir.
Okay.
All right, sir, you're not getting anything as far as Army retirement is concerned from DFAS?
Well, DFAS pays the VA, and that's my understanding, sir.
Your Honor, we might need to do a temporary order. My understanding is that there's between the VA and the Social Security Administration, there's the 5,000 and change that Mr. Twist is speaking of, and that there's an additional 2,300 and change from DFAS. So Mr. Twist, my number, gross number, and that's the taxable and the non-taxable, is $808,090.22. So it sounds like you disagree with that number.
Sir, I do not make that per month. No.
Okay. In Your Honor, Mr. Twist, I have you paying $140 a month in dental. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's the state doesn't recognize vision, but I have vision and dental. Yes, sir. And it's 140.
I'm sorry. So 140 between both the vision and the dental. And is that just for Matthew Logan Twist, or is that for somebody else too?
No, he's the only one that uses it, as far as I know.
Okay. Do you know what the breakdown is between the dental and the vision?
I don't know. I know it comes out to $140, sir, is what I pay.
All right, sir, we're gonna need for you to definitely find that out, because we can't give the credit for the vision portion of it if it's separate. If it's all inclusive and there's no separate amounts, which is kind of unusual, but hey, it happens.
100, my apologies, 120 and then $20. I'm looking at,
Okay. So it's 120 for the dental and 20 for the vision.
yes.
All right, 120 for dental then, Mr. Diamond, thank you.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to request the court to do then, Mr. Twist, for today. I'm sure you won't love this, but you can argue against it if you have a reason to. So I'm going to ask the court to do a temporary order based just off of the $5,765.22 of tax-free income that you're reporting, giving you a credit for 120 on the dental insurance that you're carrying. And then I'm going to ask you to provide more documentation when we come back, assuming the court is amenable to this, and then we can see if there's something through DFAS or not. Is what I propose acceptable to you? I can say that again if I need.
So we're looking at the 5K, sir, and not the 8,000 that they were originally saying. How long were you in the military, sir?
I was in for 8 years, sir. I was medically retired.
Okay, yeah, he's not getting a regular retirement. That's but we'll confirm that. No problem.
Well, so, in Your Honor, maybe this is irrelevant. So, but Mr. Twist, is there some sort of additional bonus for the combat pay?
If there was, I think it's already been calculated when we spoke in January of this year. That was when I got a letter saying that there was going to be no other further adjustment, and then these proceedings happened. But I mean, I thought we were current so far as January. But I mean, here we are.
So I'm not really sweating the $200. I mean, I'm going to ask the court to order some kind of repayment, and the court probably will, but that's really not so relevant. What the bigger issue is, my child support officer, who's really probably one of my best 2 or 3 child support officers in my office, is telling me that the number is something. You're telling me something else. I don't think that either of you is being dishonest. I think there's just a misunderstanding. So I'm trying to ask some questions to see if there's a reason for the misunderstanding. And I mean that sincerely. You seem like an honest guy.
Can I speak or no?
Not yet, ma'am. Just a moment.
Okay.
Okay. So here, Your Honor, I'm gonna, if it pleases the court, I'll move on to the non-disclosure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
For Mr. Twist, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Twist, do you have any objection to the court keeping Ms. Twist address and phone number from you?
He has my phone number.
I was about to say I have her phone number and I have her address.
Well, here in a minute,
say that if that's her request, then save it for her, because again, if it wasn't granted in the original order, and the burden of proof will fall on her to show the court why it should happen. He doesn't need to address it at all at this point until we figure it out, until I hear from her first, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. So I'll pass the witness then, Your Honor.
All right, then. So I'll be back to you in a moment. It's been the court's experience that, yeah, you wouldn't be getting both retirement and VA disability based on 8 years in the military, but hey, things change over the years, and the judge hadn't been in private practice for a while, but we'll get that information confirmed one way or the other before we come to a final order. But this time I'm gonna go ahead and allow the state to call the mom, and we'll see what she's requesting and why she's requesting it. Thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, will you say your full name? You're muted.
Is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
Shannon Twist.
Okay. So let's talk about the money first, Ms. Twist, and then we'll talk about the possible safety issues, if that's all right.
That's fine.
Okay, so I don't know if you follow it, that there's a discrepancy between my understanding and Mr. Twist's understanding. And we've run into this before, the question of people are receiving retirement or not from the military versus the VA. So I'm asking the court to do a temporary order until we can get back with better documentation. And the temporary order would order Mr. Twist to pay child support based off $5,765.22 of tax-free income. So that's his VA, his payment through the VA, his payment through Social Security Administration. And then I would be giving him a credit, or the calculation would give him a credit for 120 he pays on dental. He would not get credit for the vision. What I'm asking you is for the purposes of the temporary order, is that acceptable? The child support would go from, I think you're getting $512 now. You would go to getting $988 at least until we come back and look again at the hopefully better documentation. So is that yes or no acceptable?
That's acceptable. However, there are things that can I say now, or do I not?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So you think he has other?
Okay, go ahead. Mr. Now, what were you?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Your Honor.
Go right ahead. Go ahead and tell her what you were getting ready to tell her, please.
Well, I was going to ask her another question, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. What's the next question then, please?
Well, I was going to ask her what are the other sources of income that she believes he has.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So it's got to be income that you know that you're an eyewitness to. It can't be something that someone told you because it appears that this gentleman is 100% disabled, and that's what I'm supposed to look at. So if you got some other information, he's getting income for a third source, he's got or something else, it has to be that something that you have eyewitness knowledge of and not something you heard from a third party. You can testify to anything you've heard from him, but not anybody else. Okay, you may proceed then. Thank you.
So now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know if he's working. I mean, I know that he has side jobs. They have businesses online. They've made 4 trips to Disney in the last year. Literally just got back 2 weeks ago, all inclusive, 4 people. Each trip averages about $10,000 per trip.
Okay. Here's the deal, ma'am. Did he tell you it average 10,000 per person?
Oh, it does. I'm not talking about per person per trip, but it's all inclusive. Flights to Peru.
Okay.
I do know this stuff for a fact. I've sent the documentation to the AG office.
Okay,
He has
his deal, ma'am. You can testify to where he's been, but not to the amounts unless you got some information showing exactly what those amounts were, or that he told you what those amounts were.
Well, he won't tell me because he knows that he's hiding things.
Okay.
He has $1 million house in each of his name, her name. They have land, his name, her name. They have cars, his name, her name. So if he can live like that and we're struggling, I don't understand. My son works, goes to school, and is fixing to join the military himself, but yet his dad won't even pay the $512.50 hardly. It's sporadic. It's only to punish things, and it's ridiculous.
Your Honor, I object to this narrative, and I ask to be permitted to ask a different question.
All right.
Okay,
You're gonna have to, again, what you're saying, you're gonna have to give me technically documentation proof that this happens and that these are.
I sent it.
You may have sent it into the AG's office, but it's not before the court this time.
Okay.
And it's got to be in an admissible form. It cannot be hearsay. And I know you're not a lawyer, but anything that's not verifiable is technically hearsay. So if you got something that's documentation, it's got to be certified. It's been documentation from the source it is. It's got to either be and you got to prove it up as being accurate. And again, ma'am, you're not a lawyer, and I've seen lawyers not get this right. Okay, how to get written evidence in. So
yes,
you're your own lawyer. So right now, anything you want to present, again, it has not been presented to the court. And if you want to present it, you've got to get it into a form that is admissible as evidence. And that's all I can tell you. I can't tell you how to practice law. I can only tell you what the requirements are. Thank you.
okay. Well, I sent it to AG back in August when we did the first preliminary hearing. So
Okay. And again,
I don't know if they have it.
All right. That's with the AG's office. That's not me. Okay. I'm not an AG. All right. Thank you.
But
all right. So,
yeah.
So, ma'am, I get that he's spending money lavishly. I get that that's your point. I guess but that's not evidence of income. That's not direct evidence of income. So what evidence do you have of the side jobs that he's working? Has he told you about his side jobs? Have you seen reports about his side jobs? What?
He has a business card where it says project manager of, he had a business license, like contracting license out of Rockport. I don't have the business, I've sent it into you guys as well. I don't know, so there's other things that I've sent in already.
Ma'am, do you have any proof that he's actually doing something under a DBA or a corporation or something like that?
I don't know the business's name because I sent the copy of the card in, but it was with her uncle and he was on the business card itself, it has his name, his phone number, and it's it says project manager on the business card.
Okay, again, ma'am, that's like the state said earlier, that's not proof of income,
But he works for her family and they
okay,
cover it.
ma'am,
So,
you're
I get it, but that's what I have. That's what I have.
Sorry.
Project manager. And then there are online businesses and their names.
All right, so let's tell you what I'll do. If the court allows me, I'll recall Mr. Twist and I'll ask him about his other jobs. But let's talk about your safety concerns. So I take it you don't feel safe with Mr. Twist having your address going forward, or even if he does, you'd like the ability to move and him not know where you live?
He said he already had my address and I haven't given it to anybody. So if he got it maybe through trying to track us down. But no, my son does not want any contact with him. We are afraid of him. He
All right,
gave my son.
So I'm sorry, I can only address today. Well, I guess the court on its own motion. Well, okay. Do you, at a bare minimum, even if he knows where you live, are you asking the court to order the clerk to scrub your address from the order, and so that if you wanted to move, then he would not know where you lived?
Yes,
I guess. Okay. What are your safety concerns with Mr. Twist?
He gave my son cocaine and he has touched him, from what my son said in a hospital.
Sorry, ma'am.
Well, that's what was said in a court hearing.
Stop, ma'am, I don't mean to yell. Okay, stop.
Well, he asked me.
I'm getting ready to stop. Do not say another word in this courtroom, ma'am. This is a court of law. This is just because we're on Zoom doesn't make it a court of law. And you cannot testify. I've told you already, do not testify to something someone else has said, all right? Do not. If you want them to testify, then you need to get them in here and call them as a witness to testify. But for right now, stop with the hearsay. I know you're not a lawyer, man, but you cannot, read my lips, do not testify to something someone else has said other than Mr. Twist. Understood?
I understand.
Okay,
but when he asked the question, I just thought that I was supposed, he asked me why.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. Do not testify to something someone else has said. Period. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, Mr. Diamond, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I take it your son he's going to be 18 this year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, I believe it's a statement against interest, and so that I'm going to ask about what the son admitted to her, if the court will allow.
No, it's not. That's not strong enough. It's
saying.
Making a statement against interest, Mr. Diamond. No.
It's the use of narcotics. I can't. That would probably subject him to some sort of.
Here's the deal, sir. Man, sir, he can bring her. This is a 17-year-old getting ready to be 18-year-old. He can come in and testify to that. All right.
He's here. I can get him. I don't know what you want me to do.
All right. I'm taking 5. We're off the record. Stop.
Yes,
We're
sir.
taking 5 minutes off. I'm taking a brief recess and give y'all a chance to recuperate here. But again, we're not going to go into anything else beyond what's before the court at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Twist, may I see you in a breakout room for a minute?
Sure.
Mr. Twist, you gotta hang around a little bit and I'm gonna let them talk and the court's going, we're reconvening in about 5-10 minutes. Thank you.
So the invitation is sent. Yeah, there you go.
All right, Mr. Diamond, I see you and Ms. Twist are back in here. I'm getting ready to go ahead and put this back on the record. At this time, of course, back on the record on Coryell County calls number 12-10,692, and that's from the County Court at Law in Coryell County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Twist minor child. All right, here's the deal, Ms. Twist. The only thing you can testify to is something you're an eyewitness to, or that Mr. Twist told you. You cannot testify to anything that was texted to you. You cannot testify to anything that you saw in social media. Everything, even anything that you even allegedly saw him doing on Facebook. That is all still hearsay evidence. You cannot testify to anything your child has said. You can only testify to what you saw and to what he said. And if you want to get that other data in or that other information in, ma'am, you'll have to figure out how to do it in conformity with the Texas rules of evidence, which are very, very complicated. And like I say, I've seen lawyers not get this right. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and let the state put you back on the record at this time and see what other testimony you want to give the court. This is looking like it's going to be a temporary order. And Mr. Diamond, I'm not sure if you've had the chance to review the original court order or the last modification order from 2019, but it is unique. It has specific items in this thing in this order that are not in most common orders in this matter, including where the exchange of the child's supposed to take place. Again, it was a modification of the parent-child relationship that obviously modified a lot of different things. And it has specifics dealing with medical information, transfer of the child, how parents have to do things going forward that are well beyond the norm of a standard possession order. And I cannot make any order dealing with non-disclosure that's going to conflict with that order, because this matter is non-disclosure is before the court, but not dealing with anything modifying the circumstances of that final order from 2019 from the county court at law. So again, you might want to take a look at it, sir. But again, I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing in detail, but I've gone over enough to know that this is not like 99% of all possession and access orders and joint management service orders out there. It's totally different. So at this time, I'll ask the state to go ahead and call the witnesses that they wish to call and recall at this point, and for us to proceed. And again, ma'am, cards, business cards, trip posts, that kind of thing, you've got to have testimony directly from the father, or a direct testimony, admissions directly from him that can be admitted, ma'am. Otherwise, you don't get to testify to those items. So at this time, the state may proceed.
So, Your Honor, I would actually request to revise my opening.
Go right ahead.
So, Your Honor, at this point, I'm requesting the court to hold an abeyance non-disclosure to give me a chance to review the order more thoroughly, and also I need to seek some guidance from my higher ups. I believe the dependent it sounds like he's wanting to testify, but I've had very, very minimal communication with the dependent, and I want to seek guidance from my higher ups before I go put a dependent on to testify to the type of thing that was alleged.
All right. Well, first off, I need some testimony from mom whether or not she's the allegations she gave the court were very, very serious, and it sounds like they should have been forwarded to proper law enforcement and child protective services. And I need to see whether or not that has taken place also, because again, I've got to stop dad from testifying. Or at least give him the right to give him the right of self-incrimination, and I need some dates that she I'm trying well, obviously if it's anything since 2019, testimony can only be anything since 2019. And most statutes of limitations have not run on this, but they may be getting ready to run. So again, we need to know whether or not she has sought help through protective services or law enforcement. But other than that, obviously, I'm looking at having to bring this one back and perhaps give the child a lawyer, because again, based on the information in that court order, I'm not sure that based on that, these parties have been going after each other for a while based on that order. And based on that, it behooves the state, the court, to appoint someone who doesn't have a dog in this hunt to represent the child. So, but I definitely will let you go ahead, and I'm definitely looking at a reset, and I'm probably looking at appointing that item. But I do need to get some testimony from mom whether or not there's been a third party involvement with protective services or any law enforcement agency. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry to interrupt, Your Honor.
You may recall the witness at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. So recall Ms. Twist. So Ms. Twist, you a little while ago, you made some very serious allegations that drugs were provided and that there had possibly been some abuse as well. Were either of those reported to authorities?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What authorities did you report to?
The hospital actually reported it to CPS, and then after CPS got involved, we were told to call the police department where it allegedly took place, but I didn't know the hotel where it took place.
Okay, well, so
Only-
we're getting ahead of
Yeah.
ourselves. So you and I talked, but the judge was
Yeah.
not part of that conversation. Which police agency did you contact?
I contacted Fort Worth and Little Elm, but CPS also contacted Little Elm, and Fort Worth told me that since
Stop, ma'am. Again, don't tell me something someone else said, okay?
What?
Hearsay, ma'am.
I didn't know who to contact,
Okay.
so I didn't know the location of the hotel. So that's all I'm saying. I
Okay, but
contacted,
the big issue is you did attempt to report to law enforcement, correct?
yes, and Mesa, the hospital also, they contacted them as well, and then CPS.
Okay, what was the name of the hospital, ma'am?
Mesa Springs,
Mason Springs, what? It's got-
Mesa, MESA. I believe it's going to be in Johnson County. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure about the county.
Okay, was it Mason Springs Hospital or Mason Springs, what?
It's Mesa Springs Hospital, but the first incident when I took him to his primary doctor first,
And where was that located, ma'am?
in Crowley.
Raleigh, Texas. All right, thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'm showing a Mesa Springs in Fort Worth. Could that be it, Ms. Twist?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, and so you said that Department of Family Protective Services investigated. Is that correct?
As far as I know, yes, on that end.
All right,
Okay.
ma'am, what year are we looking at here, ma'am?
It'll be a year in April.
This is April, ma'am.
No, a year in May. I'm sorry.
All right, ma'am, and do you know, have you been contacted back by any law enforcement agency or CPS personnel at this time?
CPS sent a letter stating,
Okay, don't tell me what the letter stated again, ma'am. That's still hearsay.
I don't have it, so I mean, I don't have it with me, so I don't know. I don't remember.
If you've been contacted back by CPS, how about any law enforcement?
No, they said that he was too young.
Okay, ma'am, again.
No.
All right, so this all happened last, you're saying this happened when he was 17 years old? 16 years old?
He was 16 when
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, all right, stop, all right. All right, then, again, Mr. Diamond, I'm not sure that I'm thinking about appointing Ned Leiter, but right now, there's nothing in there's no pleadings dealing with any type of modification or changing anything in accordance with that order.
It's fine if he has my address. I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I mean, I can't stop him.
Begging your pardon, Your Honor, I'm not fine with it based on what Ms. Twist said. I can't agree to that. And I would respectfully request permission that before I go ask a kid about drugs and abuse, I need some guidance from my.
Right now, Mr. Diamond, that's not even before the court. Again, it's not. I don't think that has anything to do with non-disclosure. Non-disclosure is usually dealing with family violence and some type of endangerment to the mom based on that information, not on anything that's happened to the child, because that requires a modification, and that's not before the court at this time.
But I beg your pardon, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and give you time, sir, to run this by your higher ups to make sure that they're in agreement or disagreement with the court. But for right now, I don't think non-disclosure is even enough for me to appoint Ned Leiter at this point. Again, we're just dealing with the money. And ma'am, when's the child graduating from high school?
This year.
Okay, so we're dealing with somebody's gonna be 18, and we're gonna be out from under this in about a month and a half or 2 months. So, but I'll give you the opportunity. Obviously, I can order retroactive child support from the date. The new child support amounts to start from the date of the service citation. But at this point, folks, I'm looking at giving the state the opportunity to go ahead and see, make sure he gets his ducks in a row, and he's not doing anything that's not in conformity with his rules and regulations. But Mr. Twist and Ms. Twist, right now, I don't see a lot I can do here one way or the other than deal with just the child support amount going forward, the arrears. And I'm dealing with a child that's getting ready to be 18 and graduate from When's his 18th birthday?
July 7th,
July 7th, and when's his graduation date?
the end of May, I believe.
All right, so now I'm looking at a child support amount that's going to end the 1st of July.
No, I
So-
understand, but can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am, what's your question?
I've tried to take him back multiple times for income.
Okay, here's
And-
the deal, ma'am, I can only deal with.
No, I know,
I-
but
I-
my
actually-
order states, I know, but my order states it will go back until the last order signed, which is May of 2019. Is that not possible? Can we not retroactive that?
No, ma'am, it's not.
Okay, well, I was told to ask, that's why.
Okay, no, ma'am, the law is that I can go back from the date of service on the non-custodial party dealing with the modification, ma'am. And he was served in January, you were served in January. The earliest I can go back to based on the modification is February 1.
Okay,
All right, but the state's in a little bit of a quandary, and he's got to verify some information with his higher ups to make sure that he dots his i's and crosses his t's. But at this time, I'm looking at doing a reset on this and bringing you folks back and trying to come up with a final order based on that. But again, for right now, I can only look at the modification of child support. If the state's going to look at possible income from another source, the state will kind of obviously set that up and do that. I haven't had to do a deposition like that in 20-something years, but yeah, I've done them. But and I know how they work. But when we deal with persons with alleged complex financial circumstances, but for right now, that doesn't appear to be the thing before the court. And I'll let the state figure out how they want to handle it, folks. Mr. Twist, I'm sorry, sir. Again, right now, the only thing I think I can look at is the child support thing. All these other accusations and matters are not properly before the court on this type of modification, and the court cannot go into them. So again, I'm not looking at any alleged abuse, cocaine use, so forth and so on. That's not before the court at this time. And the state's going to look at dotting their i's and crossing their t's as far as they're concerned, and whether or not they want to do anything for any further discovery dealing with possible other sources of income. So, Mr. Diamond, how long you need, sir? I'm probably the child's going to be turning 18 in July. I'm probably looking at something that's 45 to 60 days out for a reset, sir. So, is that enough, or do I need to reset this in June?
I believe that's enough, Your Honor, but I was hoping to recall Mr. Twist a few more questions as to the money, if the court would allow.
Okay, again, I'm only looking at the money, sir. So I'll allow you to recall Mr. Twist at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Twist, do you have a pilot's license?
I have a student pilot license.
And do you work at all as a pilot?
No.
A while, earlier on, Ms. Twist said that you had some side jobs. Do you do any other jobs besides being a disabled veteran?
No, sir.
Okay, she mentioned like a business card as a project manager or something like that. Were you a project manager somewhere at some point?
No, sir.
Do you know the card that she's referring to?
That was for a business project. I have a business degree. That was a college project. We had to generate some kind of business plan. It was for a project.
Gotcha.
All right, sir, you got a business. Okay, well, what's your business degree in?
My degree is a bachelor's of applied arts and sciences with a concentration in petroleum studies with a minor in business.
Okay. And when did you get that degree, sir?
I believe 2017 or 2018, sir.
Okay, before the last order?
No.
I think before, sir.
Yeah, the last order I got here is a modification from 2019. You got that degree before then?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, and sir, have you ever had any type of employment based on that degree?
No, sir.
All right, I'm gonna let the state do their due diligence, ma'am. He's still got to operate under some type of business license and or a social security number. So I'll let the state see what they can find. But again, ma'am, don't nod your head. That's not appropriate. Don't nod it yes or no. Just sit there and I'll let the state do what they have to do.
Yes, sir.
You can proceed with the witness, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Twist, do you have any objection to me asking the court to order you to provide the last 2 years of tax returns?
Okay, here's the deal, Mr. Diamond. You don't have to get his approval on that at all. It was served in the original petition, and I will so order. It should have produced it within 30 days of service of citation, Mr. Twist. When you were served with a copy of the paperwork, it had a request for discovery in it, sir. The state's not real big on enforcing that request, but I am at this point based on that. So the state has order you to and that request for production to be produced within 30 days. Your income tax returns for the last 2 years, joint and personal, and your any and all bank accounts that you have in your name or you and your wife's name or who are in a business name, sir. That's all in that, and you are now ordered to verify that and produce that. And the date is the 9th day of April. I'm going to order you in this reset order to have that information produced to the state, and the state and to have that information. And the state will obviously need to redact any information. You're not allowed to take out account numbers or social security numbers or any of that thing. The state is not allowed to share that, but obviously you're ordered to produce it, and you need to produce it on or before 5 p.m. on May, and let me see what May looks like. Okay, I'll give you an extra day. You need to produce that on or before May the 10th at 5 p.m. To the state via the email address they will forward you, sir.
May the 10th, you said, sir?
Yeah, May the 10th. So I'll give you a
I
month.
submitted my tax return
You already
in
did.
the documents.
Wait, sir, you did say tax. I couldn't hear you, but are you asking for mine too?
No, ma'am, I'm still
Okay.
talking to you. You're
I'm
not the
sorry,
witness.
I
yet,
couldn't
so-
hear you.
Okay, sorry, but you're not the witness right now.
I know,
So-
but I couldn't hear you.
Mr. Twist, you said you've already produced that income tax return?
Yes, sir.
Which ones?
The last year's, I haven't filed this year, sir.
All right, so you still need to produce 2022
Okay.
and 2021, sir. Did you produce both of those?
Okay. I will.
Okay.
I have
and
2022.
The 15th of April is coming up. When is have you done your 2023 yet?
I'm in the process of it, sir.
Are you gonna get it done before the April 15th deadline, or are you gonna ask for an extension?
Probably ask for an extension considering, but I mean, I haven't even honestly thought that far forward considering it, Your Honor.
All right, here's the deal, sir. I'm gonna be you'll need to produce 21 and 22. And if you have not have completed number 2023, you need to produce a copy of the request for extension, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Mr. Diamond, still your witness.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Do you wish to recall Ms. Twist at this time?
No, Your Honor. State rest subject to, I don't even think we need to close. It's a state rest, Your Honor.
All right, then, ma'am, I'm going to go ahead and we do a reset. I'm going to order Dad to produce that information. And again, I want his if he does ask for an extension, I want his 2023 extension. If he does not ask for an extension, sir, that 2023 tax return will have to be, and again, we're looking at joint or sole, and that has to be also produced by on or before that date of May the 10th. And again, if you don't file it in a copy of the request for extension, what that gives a little basic information will also have to be turned in by that date. So again, Mr. Twist, any questions on your part?
No, sir. Just when are we going to meet back here to do this again?
All right, again, I'm looking at that May the 10th date. The state looked at a date for return coming back anytime in late May or early June. We it's the child, like I say, graduated from high school, but he doesn't technically emancipate until July.
No objection to the 10th, Your Honor.
May the 10th is not a court date, sir.
Oh.
Friday, sorry. So Ms. Walker, what's a good date in May where we're not looking at a lot of folks being here so far?
I don't know that we have a great date, Your Honor. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 judges spots open on May the 7th. It looks like there's five judges spots open on May the 9th.
Well, that's so we need to get something after the 10th. So I'm looking at the 21st is Falls County, so I'm probably looking at the 23rd, 28th, or 30th. What do those dates look like on your sheet, sir?
I mean, there's judges spaces available on both. I'm trying to look at it more from the if I had my choice, Your Honor, I would ask for the 30th. There's just less attorneys on that docket because this case will need to be worked by an attorney on our end.
All right, then let's go ahead and go with the 30th then. So I'm gonna do a reset on this matter to May the 30th, and I can again, sir, your deadline for getting that information in is that date. Technically, ma'am, you were also served with that. Again, the state, Texas is not one of those states that look at both parties' incomes. So I'm not going to order you to produce that at this point. It doesn't seem relevant. And like I said, again, we're only looking at a few months one way or the other here. But again, I'll go ahead and order that Mr. Twist set those up. And allow the state to, we'll come back here on the 30th, and about then the state will have a chance to review and check with their higher ups and see how he wants to handle some of this stuff, all right? All right, so ma'am, I'm gonna start with you and then I'm gonna go back to Mr. Twist. Any questions, ma'am? Anything else you think I need to know that's not hearsay evidence, ma'am? You're
Sorry.
That's okay, ma'am. You're not a lawyer.
Well, he asked me the question, so I answered, but I do have one question. You
Yes,
did
ma'am.
ask Mr. Twist to provide bank statements and taxes for both parties, right? Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
not what you said?
That was part of the discovery process on the original paperwork he was served with, and Mr. Twist has now been ordered to confirm and get all that information to the state on or before the 10th of May. Bank statements, joint and individual, and tax returns for the last the 2 years prior to serve it. Well, for 22 and 21. And if he files his 23, I want his 23. And if he doesn't file his 23, I want his request for extension.
Okay, thank you. That's all I couldn't hear that part. And I want to make sure he heard that as well.
All right.
Because I couldn't hear you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Anything else then?
No, I appreciate it. And I'm sorry about earlier. It's just really upsetting.
Ma'am, you're not a lawyer, so I get it, ma'am. All right, Mr. Twist, anything else, sir? Any questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right, again, sir, I'm only looking at the money going forward. Again, that's the only thing before the court. And like I said, I'll let the state get that and then they'll send evidence. And if that looks like it's going to be too complicated for the court to do on that date, I'll do a quick reset to a special setting date. So it could all go before the court. The court's not bragging, but the court has an MBA in finance and a big time, and used to be a big time background in federal tax law, but I'm old and beyond that now. So anyway, we'll go over it, sir, and we'll look at it and we'll figure this one out. So does the state need to speak with either party and break out before they leave, or are both parties free to go, sir?
Well, so Your Honor, I was going to request a couple other rulings.
So you're requesting, Mr. Diamond.
Your Honor, if we can have I'd request that the court to confirm arrears of 247.15 as of 3/31/24, and then would also request a repayment amount.
All right, I'll go ahead and find that there is an amount owed as of that date, and I'll go ahead and order a $25 a month repayment starting the first day of May, but it's allowed to be balanced out once this month's hit, so we'll see. But if it's not balanced out going forward, sir, you're ordered to pay $25 until it gets down to zero. What next, Mr. Diamond?
And then the new child support, I take it that also begins on the 1st of May, Your Honor?
I'm going to hold all that in advance until we get a copy of this. I'm going to obviously I get to go back to the first day of February, and I'm going to hold off on this until we get all the paperwork, sir. Because again, I want to make sure that we've seen everything and we got everything. So I can start the new child support amount. I'm not going to start I'm going to start the new child support amount the date first date after service. So going forward, so the old child support is the only thing that's going to be due for the 1st of May based on these circumstances.
I tell you what, then, Your Honor, if and that makes sense, and maybe I should have thought of that. But if service was in January, Your Honor, then actually I'd ask to hold off on confirming the arrears, because I would ask to go back further on confirming the arrears if we're going to start this in January or February of 24.
Okay, we'll hold that off in advance too, and see, like I said, it's liable to balance out by then, it may not balance out by January, but, by the time we come back, the new amount may show that there's nothing owed, so we'll see.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But again, we'll go back to January and take care of this, okay? Again, folks, under Texas law, you go back, you may, and I had to do that in another case recently, just to make sure that it's not a shall, and it's a may. And based on the fact that this child's getting ready to emancipate, and or it's not gonna go past July 7th, I'm gonna go ahead and obviously go back to the first day of after the date of service, which would be February. So we're gonna come back in May, and we'll figure out what the new child support amount is, and we'll see what the income was for 2021, 2022, see what the bank account's looking like, and then and whether or not there is a 23 tax return, and confirm all that, and line that all up with the VA disability, with the Social Security disability, and give that credit for the Social Security amount that's being paid to the child. And it didn't come up, but I know there was a letter of lump payments in the associated with the pleadings, but not introduced in evidence. And so, ma'am, there may be a lump sum amount credit that may be granted also. But again, I'm saving that all until final hearing at this point.
Can I ask one quick question? If my son is going to school immediately after he turns 18, does that still carry
No.
over? I don't know how that works, so I wasn't sure.
Texas, no, not in Texas.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because
No,
I didn't.
Post high school does not count in Texas, only age and 18 in high school, ma'am. Thank you.
It's fine. I just wanted to make sure, because he was supposed to have the GI Bill and it's gone. So
Okay,
we
ma'am,
have to go through the VA.
Okay.
That's all I was asking. I just didn't know.
All right, ma'am, you just gave the court more data than the question, so again, be careful with that. You're not allowed to do that. Sorry.
No. I was asking a serious question, because I don't know how that all works.
The VA and the GI Bill, and that wasn't part
Well,
of it.
because his
Man,
dad needs to know.
stop. I know you got a lot you want to tell me, but you just can't blurt it out. Sorry.
No,
You-
it wasn't meant
You
bad.
see lawyer shows, that's not the way it works, okay? Sorry. Okay.
It wasn't meant bad, I promise. I was asking a question because
Okay.
his dad would know how
Obviously, you know
to.
what that is. All right, thank you. Anything else, ma'am?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Twist, anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right, thank you both very much, and I'll see y'all both back in May, and we'll see what the math is. And again, this is just a math case right now, so, and we're off the record. Thank you. May the parties
Thank
be-
you. Have a good day.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you both very much. Be safe out there. It's raining like crazy. Well, it looks like it's stopped for now, wherever y'all are, but it's all throughout Texas. So everybody's under flash flood alert warning, not alert anymore, warning. So everybody be careful. And like I said, we're
Yes,
off the
sir.
record.
Yeah.